calling to order the East Point Community School Board meeting at 6:31. Can you please call the roll?
Dr. Early,
Here.
Mr. Williams here, Mr. Roscoe,
Present.
Mrs. Richardson,
Present.
Mrs. Chopra,
Here.
Mrs. Whitby,
Here.
and Mr. McCain.
Here.
Okay, we have 7 present. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Can you please have approval of the agenda?
Place for a motion to approve the agenda in its written form.
Second.
With motion and support, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes, Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chopra,
Yes.
and Mr. McCain.
Yes.
Vote of 7-0, motion carried. Next, can I please have approval of the consent agenda?
Place forth a motion to approve the consent agenda in its written form.
I second it.
With motion and support, can you please call the vote?
Mr. McCain,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes, Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
and Mrs. Chopra.
Yes.
With a vote of 7-0, motion is carried. Next, we have the superintendent's report. Superintendent?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education, and for those of you in the community joining us this evening, either here or online. This is your superintendent's report. I'm excited to inform the Board of Education that with the help of Principal Todd Yarch, as well as the leadership team of Southlake, East Point and Southlake have executed a consortium agreement between our 2 school districts, where we will be opening up our doors for Southlake High School students to take law enforcement, and our students will have access to automotive technology at Southlake High School. As this board knows, the team has been working to grow and expand career tech education offerings for quite some time, so we're excited to have this partnership here. We also have some other great news about a partnership with Macomb Community College, and we're exploring looking at welding and HVAC being offered through Macomb Community College for our students as well. Little Shamrocks Youth Basketball League this week, this Saturday, ended week 3 of the Little Shamrock Basketball League happening at East Point High School. All 4 elementary schools have teams competing and participating. Next week is a bye week, but the fun will continue with the championship games at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock on March 21st. We are also doing a big logo reveal of our new logos for each of our 4 K-5 elementary schools. We are working to shape the communities around our schools and synergize our efforts at our 4 elementary schools. And the team that has planned Little Shamrocks basketball has told me they are not done yet. They are hoping to expand youth sports programming into next year, and also considering piloting a little soccer this spring. So this is our school district responding to the request of parents and families for quite some time, have been saying we want more things for our children to do after school. So we're very proud, and a special shout out to McKenna Williams, a teacher leader. She's a teacher at Pleasant View Elementary School and really is excited about this youth sports, and Paris McCarthy and all of the coaches, principals, volunteers. I want to make sure that you know that not only am I seeing parents and grandparents coming out, our teachers are coming out to support our children on Saturdays. The bleachers were full of staff members coming to support our students. It is a great event. If you have not been to one, I'd like to invite you to the last game on March 21st for the big logo reveal, and maybe you can catch a little bit of the game and meet some of our families and community as well. Black History Month was celebrated all across East Point Community Schools, and the pictures were just starting to roll in at the end of our last board meeting. So we have made a slide deck for each school to highlight some of the efforts. Students performed, showed off work. There were crafts with family events at Crescentwood. I know Principal Meringue's going to talk about that as well. Bellevue hosted a number of Black History Month events. Families enjoyed special meals together, music, student presentations, and students doing learning about famous Black members of our society that have made an impact. We've also seen at East Point Middle School, students prepared and presented information about Black figures in history. And we also have some Forest Park 4th and 5th graders at the left sharing about their research into Black history. Pleasant View hosted their annual Living Wax Museum, where the students not only dressed up, but also made presentation boards about their famous person. If you were lucky enough to attend, you got to meet all kinds of different people at the event. And thank you so much to Pleasant View for opening up their doors to the community and to families and inviting them in for that presentation. It was a rough year for our girls basketball team. A lot of our really strong players graduated last year. However, the girls have made incredible progress this year. And a big shout out and congratulations to Angela Evans, MAC Bronze All Conference. Congratulations, Angela. And I know Coach Brown has already been working with the players, and they're excited and ready to come back next year stronger than ever. Athletics update. For those of you that didn't see, last week, East Point High School hosted both MHSAA boys regional basketball as well as the girls district basketball tournaments. Our staff had games 5 nights last week. These are not games that our children played in. We hosted for other schools. The team did an absolutely fantastic job. We had security measures in place to make sure our event was safe. Unfortunately, on Friday night, a number of students from other schools came and were removed from our game due to conduct. Unfortunately, those students waited until the end of the game and had a fight in the parking lot. These are not our students. These were students from other schools. And I just want to make sure that I clarify any misconceptions. It is an unfortunate event, and it is unfortunate that students and or sometimes even parents at athletic contests have behavior that is not appropriate. I just want to remind everybody that East Point Community Schools is committed to helping all children. We have a wonderful high school to host regional and district events. It will not deter us from offering to host in the future. We also see the value that it brings to our community, bringing in guests who support our local businesses and restaurants by coming to our town. So it was unfortunate. Again, this event, and after a full week of hosting events every night the week, and we didn't have any problems all week long. So a little disappointing on Friday night. This month is March's Reading Month, and our district librarian, Cindy Sandoval, put together a very comprehensive report of all of the things that are available. And I just want to highlight for you the amount of reading and opportunities that are available to our students at each school. Bellevue's, each school is raising the awareness for reading this month. We've already had a number of speakers come in and read to our students. But I love some of the things, flashlight reading. You know, the goal in March for our schools is anything to get kids excited about reading. So if any board members or community members are interested in reading, I know Judge Galen and the Rotary reached out, and we have them going to be reading, but please reach out to the Office of the Superintendent to share more, or if you're interested in sharing your talent with reading to our students, we'd love to have you through that. What I really love is that normally literacy events are focused at our K-5 level, but this year, with Cindy's help, we're also pushing a lot of reading events at the middle school. And at the high school, we were selected to host a author. Candace Vinson will be a special guest reader. And this was brought to us through, again, Cindy Sandoval applied for it. And the MDE and CTE consultant, Candace Vinson's going to be here to read more. And then local author Bertram Turner will be here at the high school as well. So lots of great things happening to focus on reading this month. As this Board of Education knows, that we do have a partnership agreement we will be executing with the Department of Education for East Point High School. We fell short of being released from the partnership agreement last year with lagging graduation data. And then East Point Middle School, this is a group of students that we've seen struggling, so we will be targeting some of our intervention and our support. East Point High School was previously a partnership district. MDE and the MISD all agreed that we met all of our benchmark goals. We showed dramatic improvement in our content areas, both in ELA and in math. I'd like to lift some of the academic progress that we've made at East Point High School under our last partnership agreement. We've been strengthening curriculum alignment and data-driven instruction discussions. We've been using data cycles, and this is from Principal Todd Yarch's presentation the other night, to the academic outcome meeting with the MDE. We focused on academic routines, increasing attendance at the high school, really working on on-track proficiency. We've seen tremendous NWEA gains, as well as 118 students in 9th through 12th grade that made it to the honor roll. This is the school index. The school index is a combination of a number of factors. And I just want to highlight for the Board of Education that the reason that the high school was identified is we have some lagging graduation data here, but you can see that our growth index increased, our index score increased, our proficiency increased. Still not what we'd like to see, but we will be actively working on that graduation data. Here you can see, this is from My School data. And it shows our 4-year combined, but you can see our 5-year went up to 78. So the other piece I want to lift for the board about graduation data is that we have a transient student population that comes into our school and then goes out from our school. And that is quite problematic for graduation data, because if a student moves in that senior year and doesn't re-enroll into another school or drops out after moving or leaving, they don't count towards our graduation rate. So when we do calculate our graduation rate by full academic year students, they start the year with us, they graduate from us, our graduation rate is actually up in the 90s. Where we're seeing children who struggle is kids who have high mobility and move school to school to school. Maybe there's housing instability from the family. Maybe there are other life situations that happen, but it's not an excuse. We're going to continue to target and support our children, and the high school is going to, really commit to how they work that and support kids, especially in those transitions. So the partnership timeline is our team is already, our principals have already been having data review meetings at the Macomb Intermediate School District. We are having a data progress review of where we are, as well as looking at the comprehensive needs assessment. Where are we hitting the mark? Where do we still have room to grow? What supports do our students need? How do we align our resources to drive what they need? We've drafted academic goals that will continue to focus on full academic year students. We know we can control when students are with us for a full year. It's much harder to have an impact on partial year students. We'll also continue to focus on math and reading at our schools. Graduation rate and attendance are our big focus areas as we look at our goals for partnership. That draft agreement will be submitted probably before March 23rd. We have a meeting to finalize those goals this week. I want to remind the board that we don't do anything that is not through the lens of our strategic plan. We are working on these 5 areas. We are finishing year 3 of our strategic plan. And the team knows then those key performance indicators are posted on our district website, where you can see how we feel that we're performing, and we're honest, and we'll say we're not meeting this in the area, but you can track those pieces. I think it's important for the board to understand that you have a strategic plan. This partnership agreement isn't in isolation, it's just the work that we've already identified that we need to do. As part of the partnership agreement, it is important that the board know that once we agree to this partnership agreement, the superintendent has some clear next steps. I have to continue to regularly update the board on our progress. My team will continue to come here and give you updates. As part of this agreement, the board will agree to support the superintendent, ensure meaningful school and district community engagement, and continue to stay abreast of reviewing the agreement at regular intervals. Our partnership goal areas, again, I shared those just a moment ago, but we will be working on MSTEP, NWA and iReady assessments. We're going to continue to work on chronic absenteeism and getting our children to school, as well as look at our tiered systems of support. And we're working to improve that graduation rate at the high school. Principal Yarch is in the audience, and I know that when we didn't meet that 67%, it was a bit of a disappointment. But I would like to share some positive news. This year, we've been working on attendance across the district. We are participating in the Macomb Intermediate School District's attendance network. And this is a little challenging to see, but you can see this was our data from 2024. And what we were measuring here is the percentage of students that were at school 90% of the time. And last year, we definitely saw, here you can see 24% of East Point High School kids are at school 90% of the time. It is really hard to graduate from high school when you are not at school. It is really hard to learn how to read, mom and dad, when your children are not at school. This is not just a school problem. This is all of us as a community in support of our children. Parents, we need you helping us. But I want to show you, and I'll just stick with East Point High School, who had our lowest attendance rate in 2024-25. They have seen almost a 10% increase in a year by some targeted efforts. Some of our best attended schools are Forest Park Elementary School, as well as Pleasant View Elementary School. So we've seen gains in all of our schools, but our team is going to continue to work on getting children to school, and we do need a partnership with parents to make that happen. Certainly have your kids stay home if they're not sick, but please bring them if they're late. We would rather have the kids at school learning, even if you wake up late. So we do have a number of strategies in place. I know our schools are all working on improving attendance, contacting families, and having teachers have that contact with parents and families. So congratulations on the progress. Still not enough. We do need to continue to work on better attendance here at school. And again, these are recovery efforts that started post-pandemic. Remember, during the pandemic, we shut down and we told everybody, don't come to school. So these are some habits and I think some societal shifts that we saw as a result of the pandemic, but we're committed to continuing to improve it. So congratulations to all of our schools for the progress that they have made. But I wanted to make sure the board saw this, because it's hard to graduate high school when you're not showing up to get it done. So this continues to be a major focus for our organization. Next, I'd like to turn it over to our student board representative. Welcome, Edward. We're glad to have you here today. Edward, can you tell us a little bit more about what's been going on at the high school for the board?
Yes, I can. So a few weeks ago, there was a field trip to Wayne State by Ms. Collier. And she took a group of students to Wayne State so they can see an experience in what college looks like before they graduate, to see if they want to go to college or do something like trades, or just see what major they want to do, because the tour guides were different majors, so they could see what type of things, what the colleges can offer for this, what they might want to do for their future careers. And then there was also an event, a DECA event last weekend, where they participated, they did all their effort, and unfortunately, they didn't get any medals, but the best thing they got from that was the experience, so they can gain and do better than they already have. Then there was one of our teachers, Mr. Risky. He went to the SME Prime training for robotics and engineering, which will also help with the CTE things for next year of a program that he was telling us about for another trip he's going to do of the CTE for it. Then another thing I want to get into is just testing, because soon 8th through 11th grade are going to have to do the SAT or the PSAT, and the 11th grade are going to have to do the ACT for colleges in the future as well. Then there was an event for attendance incentive for people who had perfect attendance for a month, where you would get pancakes, basically a breakfast in the morning so you can get ready for the day. Then there is a play coming up in May where it's the 7th through the 9th. It is called The Day the Internet Died. So right now they're just getting through the preparations and rehearsals for it. And then there was a contest with the whole school for who had the best decorated door during Black History Month. The person who won was Ms. Rodriguez for all of the projects of students and what she has done with it as well. And then in CTE, our culinary of it, in Wednesday is going to be Cupcake Wars, which I want to go as well. I want a cupcake. But that is pretty much what I have for you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Edward. We appreciate that. And testing begins, what's the date of testing, Assistant Superintendent?
I think it is April 14th.
April 14th. Thank you, Edward Downey. I just wanted to make sure that she had your back
So
over there.
teachers are focusing on getting ready for that.
Okay.
All right, well, excellent. Edward Downey, we thank you so much for your update tonight. You're getting a round of applause from everybody. Nice job on your first student representative update to the Board of Education. Next, I'd like to just go over a few upcoming events, and then we'll turn it over to Stephanie Meringue, principal at Crescentwood. I want to remind the community that on March 21st, we will have our Little Shamrocks youth basketball game, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. There are two separate games. We're playing full court that day. March 27th does end the end of quarter 3. It is a half day for students. We will be on spring break March 30th to April 3rd. All of our schools will be closed. Central office will be open except for Good Friday. April 6th will be staff professional learning, no school for students. So students, you get that extra day of spring break off. April 14th will be parent-teacher conferences and a half day for students. Next, as part of our building series, yes?
I had one question.
Yes, sir.
Madam Superintendent, can you go back to the CTE cross-travel, as well as, I'm saying, do we have to buy any more vans, or will we be adding more employees?
Well, I'm glad you asked about that. So the finance office hiding over there in the side. We just discussed that this morning at our cabinet meeting. We have, Gorno Ford does have another transit van. It is something that our team is researching. We hope that they're gonna, we don't know if they can hold it for us, but we're going through our funding streams to see if we would be able to afford purchasing another transit van to support that transportation to Macomb Community College for HVAC and welding, and to be able to be a shuttle between us and Southlake. We know that a lot of the trades programs as well, the barrier is always that car transportation, you know, and so our job is to find the barriers, eliminate the barrier, and to create pathways for kids to be successful. So we are aware that Gorno has a transit van, and we are working to find out what funding streams. So you might see a transit van coming soon to the Board of Education, and that is because our transit van that we purchased with ESSER money has been impacting our homeless families. You have heard me talk about that because as well. Transportation and shuttle busing for student opportunity continues to be a focus of our team.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce to you Principal of Crescentwood Elementary School, Stephanie Meringue, and I will click for you, Stephanie, and tell the board a little bit about the work that you and your amazing team at Crescentwood have been leading this year. Thank you. Steph, is your microphone on? Okay, Caitlin, would you check the volume on that microphone, please? Thank you.
Okay. We had a huge task this summer, going from a K2 to a K5 transition. And one great thing with my staff was I was able to keep everybody. So we had to shift gears for half my staff into learning new grade levels and content. I was fortunate in the summer to hire a talented instructional coach and a third grade teacher. When we opened those doors in the fall, we had a projected number of students, and we far surpassed, exceeded that with 80+ students from our projected enrollment. So thanks for allowing us to have an additional second grade and fourth grade. We opened a fourth grade class in October. We had over 40 students in the classroom at that time. I utilized a building sub just to split up those kids. As we knew, we had somebody in the works that was putting forth their paperwork. So I was able to at least cut down on the class size right then. In December, I was able to open up an additional second grade classroom. So now we house 2 grade levels for every general ed, except for 5th grade where we just have 1 classroom. We house 3 self-contained classrooms. So we have the most self-contained students in the district, and I have 1 full day and 1 half day resource room teacher. As you'll see in the upcoming pictures that you'll see in the next slide, we have numerous assemblies, fire prevention, character traits. There we have our basketball team. We might be 0-2. Actually 0-3, but we're not counting the first one, just because we are getting our feet wet. We were able to, Miss Smith is leading the team, and it was great that Maurice, who we all know as Maurice Elf on the Shelf, at the first game, he looked over at us and he's like, I can't have Crescentwood go down like that. So he has joined our coaching staff. And so we're already talking about next season, and I'm trying to get him to do soccer with us. But that is some excitement that we have in the building. You'll see another picture there. I went from doing a whole building-wide, recognizing students last year as like 2 students per class. Actually, it was 1 student per class. And then to teachers recognizing 3 students with our character traits, and we call it our MVP. We went through a whole sports theme this year. And so we have our most valuable person every month. And instead of doing building-wide, I felt like we need to get our parents involved more in more of a personal setting. So I have breakfast refreshments, and then the students get to be called, instead of being in the gym for breakfast, they get to come to the media center with their parents. And I go through and say a few words from their teachers to them, so it's really nice. One other additional thing that I really did love seeing this year was partnering up with Pleasant View, and I have Mr. Noyak is in our building as well for our music program, and so he has taken my 5th graders onto the wing and let me send them over to Pleasant View at the end of Mondays and Tuesdays, and we had some students join the band group at Pleasant View, so that was a nice addition this year. Going through, we've had a lot of character traits. We have a student success coach who comes in every week and goes over our monthly traits that we do for PBIS. And here you'll have Basketball Jones going over cooperation and including others. We even had Detroit Pistons come in this past week to kick off our March's Reading Month, and it's obviously called Read Madness, just because, again, with our sports theme for the year and the timing. You can go ahead. You'll see, obviously, not just the kids that get to have all the fun, but my behavior team, myself, custodian, and secretary, we decided that we were going to be part of Oz, and we had dressed up for Halloween. There in the center, you see part of our 90% of our students' attendance for partnership with the ISD, where they got, that was Cinnabon, and I couldn't believe the size that they gave the kids. It was a full Cinnabon, not the mini.
Yummy.
And when I saw my kindergartners with this huge Cinnabon, I was like,
All that sugar.
the sugar. I was just like, okay, this is gonna be a fun afternoon. But it was great to see their eyes. Obviously, you see the fire chief there, Alton Polk, sorry, went to school with him, and I was just drawing a blank. He brought back the puppet show this year, so that was his first time ever doing it. And he was starting with us, and he's like, just be nice to me. I'm like, my kids will love you. They'll take it. And as you can see, they were enjoying the puppets there. So teaching and learning is happening across in our building. As you can see, that's a small group of students in there. Obviously that, if I go back to which classroom, they're using their manipulatives it looks like they have a flip chart. I can't remember whose class it is, a kindergarten class, Miss Epifanio's room. But they're implementing the iReady reading in math in every single classroom, K-5. In our K-2, what we have, and I mentioned this to you guys last year, we have an intervention for our guided reading team that is all literacy, so K-2, all students are serviced into their level. We also have phonics for reading that is intervention for our grades 3 through 5. I have an academic para who is mainly for math groups, but she does help assist with that, with the K2 literacy as well throughout the day. Every Wednesday is PLC, and with, like I mentioned, my instructional coach, I've given her the reins to lead that, but it's all data-driven, utilizing their iReady reports each week and from their unit assessments where they're constantly gathering the data and working those small groups for the math. And then for the grit, my intervention utilizes, so she pulls that data. We have, like I mentioned earlier, the 3 self-contained classrooms, which are utilizing the Teach Town that the district approved. That student success coach, who I mentioned, she's also not just doing lessons, but she holds restorative meetings with students, and then she has also brings in parents to meet with and get to know. She does that a lot with our new students that come in throughout the year, just so we can get that partnership and to include them so they don't feel left out starting in the middle of a school year. Our high dosage tutoring will be taking place starting next week, so we're looking forward to that at Crescentwood. There you see active learning going on with the iReady My Path with our 2nd graders. There's some science experiment in our 4th grade in the center there. And that picture on the right is the 2nd week of school where Miss Smith was having her 1st graders talk math, and a former math teacher in me was really geeked out and excited when I went in there, and I was just like, you're talking math the 2nd week of school? Like, I was just blown away, and they continue to do so. There on the left, you'll see Mrs. LaPerry, our student success coach. What she did was she set the tone at the beginning of the school year and went over expectations for the building. In the center, it's not just the students that are doing the learning, it is the staff. There's been times at the middle and in the beginning of the year during PLC or some staff meetings, I would put together some activities that they would have to get into teams, and they had to collaborate with each other, just like we would encourage our students to do. So those activities were basically things that they could bring back to their classrooms as well. And that's my whole point in getting them to up and move, so they can see that they can do this with their students. Just sample writing from one of our self-contained rooms that you see on the right there. Toys for Tots. This was led by one of our academic paras, Mickey Mandela. She came to me and she said, "Can I just put something together? I want to work with the Marines and get Toys for Tots coming in." So I thought that was a wonderful addition. She was very eager, and she's still going to get us things for our families and our students right now. But we had over 120 families participate. I had 12 staff members that volunteered their time. This was not a paid event. This was just 12 staff members wanted to come out and help our families. We had a donation from Haley and Company. They donated our food and our supplies for the night. Students were walking out of there. Each student that signed up was walking out with a big ticket item. Could have been a bike, as you see there.
yeah.
Or they had the choice. So we had a big ticket stations per grade level. And then they had a stocking stuffer. They had a book or a puzzle, and then one other. So they were walking out with 3 or 4 items.
Wonderful.
And that was something that families were tearful. It really made our hearts full. So that was probably one of our greatest events that we had so far this year. Our Black History Month. This was led by my instructional coach, Christy Tolbert, which, as you can see, we had on the stage there, we weren't sure how many students were really going to stay, but we were impressed with, we had over 120 students, I can't remember the number off the top, it might have been 123 students participate in that evening. On the stage there were the ones that were comfortable enough to sing. They sang some songs with Mr. Noyak, and then our K1 went through the letters of the alphabet with Black History Month facts. So that was really cute to see. We had a door decorating contest, which the families were allowed to vote. At first it was gonna be the building, but we opened it up to them. In our 4th grade, Miss Blas's class won with their board. We had a craft in our art room being done. We had our 4th graders presenting. They put together slideshows of famous African Americans, and they presented them to their families. So they got up there and was speaking, and I was really proud of them. 5th graders had a mini wax museum kit. Our 3rd graders displayed a writing. And then, like I said, the K through 1 did the alphabet, and then our 2nd graders joined in with the music. And we had light refreshments, and it was another nice night where we had a lot of families participate. Data. If you look up here, we have our iReady reading that is comparing our fall to winter, and I put up there with each grade level. Where you look at the green or right there with the black and the green, those are above grade level. So building wide, just from fall to winter, we increased by 9%, and those are students at grade level or above.
That's good.
So that, I started with a smaller goal, and we've already exceeded. So now I've increased their goal for our building for springtime. So we're gonna see if we can hit my 15%. Next we have our math, which I was actually kind of blown away because math is a struggle. And our concentration is really on literacy a lot, but our math really did go up. It increased to 8% at or above grade level from fall to winter. So that, I had a 5% goal as a building, and we already got up to 8, so I increased that again. Going into our data, when I mentioned our grit and our early literacy, if you look here, we have, the top is the beginning stops. It's more of phonics and just getting them familiar with words and letter choices and sounds. As you go up, going from September to January, what's one thing that we do, my interventionist does a progress monitoring every 4 weeks, roughly, for grades K through 2. And now she's increased the 3 through 5. But from just to January, we already have, if I look at my numbers, we already have in kindergarten 19, and this is back on January's data, but 19 at or above grade level. In first grade, 19 as well. In second grade, I talked with my interventionist today, and she still has another class to make sure, but right now we have 11 students in second grade at or above level. That's not counting my other second grade class right now, which has 20-some students in, 22 students to be exact. So she's gonna be changing, obviously, and looking at those scores and going from there. But our data for our literacy is picking up. Our fourth grade, we had one group, one class working, and out of those students, 7 have moved out of the program altogether. So they don't need any more intervention, and that class size was a class size of 20. Areas for action. We know that we need to work on small group with our social emotional learning, and Ms. Kaufman is continuing to do that. My behavior tech is also joining in too with her to help with those groups, just so her kids are getting the same lessons as well. So they're working together to increase our students there. Our whole SIT team, which my school improvement team has, we've spent hours looking at walkthrough data that I have given them about what I'm seeing in the classroom, and we have found that we need to grow our teachers. Our teachers, like I said at the start, half of them were in new grade levels and working. So when you have a teacher who is teaching maybe second grade and now is a 5th grade teacher, she's got to change those things. So we had the mentor-mentees partner up, and they would go and walk around the building and watch other teachers in action and pull some strategies from them. I've also sent other staff to other buildings to see more, other veteran teachers in that grade level. So that is one thing that we are, as a team, we're big on growing our teachers. We had 6 coaching cycles, which with my coach, and that sometimes those coaching cycles are more than one person. She'll do it by grade level. So she's hit every single general ed staff member this year in one area, whereas last year I didn't have that. So my teachers already are improving with instruction. Upcoming events, we have our March Madness Reading Family event on March 26th, which I believe the group is saying is 4:30 to 6 p.m. Notes will be going home shortly. We have the NED Assembly. It's on character determination and courage, and this is going to kick off our testing month of April. But we're extending it to second graders as well, because we're really trying to get them into that testing zone, because they're going to be 3rd graders next year, and it doesn't stop. MSTEP testing in April and May. Our kindergarten's going to the Detroit Zoo, and my teachers there, they actually went for a grant through the zoo, and one of my teachers was really excited because she's applied every year, and this is the first year that she got it, and it's an all paid in transportation and everything for the students, so that's exciting for them. We have obviously our field day that will be at the end of the year in June. Our 5th graders already have their trip on the Diamond Jacks on the river coming up in May. And then we do have end of year celebrations for all grades. I just don't have everybody's dates up there yet. They have to decide and get those to me by the end of this month. And I mentioned the monthly MVP and character traits recognition. Any questions for me?
Do we have any questions?
They want to know what Diamond Jacks is.
It's on the river, so they're gonna go for a boat ride and
They're trying to grow the teachers because it is a difference from teaching a second grader to a teacher. Trying to grow the teachers because it is a difference from teaching a second grader to a teaching a fifth grader. The whole attitude pattern is different. And so the fact that you're allowing for that training is really important and key. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing that part because we're not perfect, but we're working to be greater. And so that's the best part. We're working on the things that we know needs to be done. And so it's good to see that you're making that happen at the school. And I'm sorry, because I know Ian wanted to say something.
Then I had something to say.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ian.
You are.
Go ahead,
talking
Ian.
all day.
Great presentation. The one thing that stood out to me, I think it was on one of the progress slides, was you had the quote, and I'm a big quote person, don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. So kudos on your continued progress and then continuing to raise the bar as you make process.
And I guess my turn now, Madam President?
Yes.
Can I go now?
Go ahead.
When you have all the tools and the right tools to do your job as a principal, as a teacher, as a student, the toolbox is full. These are the results, those numbers that you just put there. Those are the results, and to see them not where you wanted them to be, but they're not where they were in the beginning in reading and writing and math. And so when we continue to provide those tools, none but success should come to you guys, and great report.
Thank you. I'm happy too also that you added the parents. You got. Yes, ma'am, you have 3 minutes.
Where'd I get that?
Okay. Hi, Jennifer Nicholas, East Point resident. I actually, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Downey for his presentation. That was a very well-executed presentation, and thank you again. It's good to see you here. I did have a couple of comments. National School Boards Association Conference. I know you're going to be discussing that. I'm sure you'll be discussing the costs of it. I was trying to go online and look and see what it's all about. It looks like it's a very comprehensive conference.
Yes.
A lot of activities in that, but it also seems like a lot of the activities are kind of a la carte. The way I was reading it, there's a set fee to go there, and then some of these meetings and that you have to pay this or that, so I just wondered, what the total expense of that is, and like I said, I'm sure you'll be discussing that. The other item, talking about the potential joint committee between the school board and the city council. I think that's really an excellent idea. Superintendent Gibson was at the city council meeting last week and expressed a lot of interest in collaborating with the city council. I think the more collaboration, the better. And, possibly students might want to get involved with coming to city council meetings and seeing how things work in the city, similar to how Mr. Downey is here at the school board meetings. When you think about it, our juniors and seniors, by the time the next election for mayor and city council come around, they will be eligible to vote. So it's important to, I think, get them interested now in participating in the community and seeing different ways that they can be involved in the community that they live in. So
Then our board members, because the information that we receive will be on a national level as opposed to a local level. We continue to miss what's going on at the national level, and so now we want that opportunity to go. I would like to be one of the people to go, and I'm asking this year not to hold back for a second person to go. Every time we go out of town, we send or we bring more than one person, because We need to make sure that the safety of the person that's going or the two people to go, to make sure that those two people come back with the most valuable information that they can. There's been several situations when we went to other Michigan events that necessitates is the word I'm looking for, that more than one person go. And I'm going to tell you about something that many of you don't know. We, myself and Mr. Roscoe, went to a Michigan Association of School Board event, education event. We don't just go to picnic and have fun. We go from class from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night each day. So it's not, we're not going to have fun. We're not doing all of that kind of stuff. You can see our school record. We literally, out of the Macomb County, this school board has won 14 awards for education this year out of 22. So out of 22 awards awarded, we, East Point School Board, have earned the most.
And it's early.
And we haven't finished yet.
That's right.
But I say that to say, we went to one of the conferences, and there was a fire in the building, in the hotel, in the middle of the night. I normally sleep at night. I don't sleep in the morning. I'm not a get up early in the morning person. I stay up late because when I went to get my doctorate, I used to study at night. So I got that rotation. I went to sleep and it was about midnight, 1:30-ish in the morning, and I'm so asleep I couldn't hear. The smoke alarms was going off, and Mr. Roscoe was banging on my door to wake me up. And if it wasn't for him banging on that door to come get me, I may not be here. Mr. Roscoe not only made sure that I got out the building, but he got our whole 7th floor out the building. The whole 7th floor of people, kids, parents, seniors. It's a fee associated because if I'm paying for the conference, why are you making me pay for the other classes? It's a fee associated because if I'm paying for the conference, why are you making me pay for the other classes? And so we go to the classes that are part of the conference. If we see something that we want to go to personally, a lot of times we cover those costs ourselves because it's something that we want to do extra. And so I'm asking if anybody have any questions about it. And Superintendent, can you please enlighten us on some of the cost of things for this?
Yep, so the cost of the conference for registration is $825 for the registration for all 3 days, 10, 11, and 12. Dr. Early is not requesting to go to the pre-conference, so the request that you've made is for one person. The hotel accommodations are approximately $250 an evening. So we would be planning for 2 nights of accommodations, possibly 3, depending on the air travel expenses. Air travel expenses, we are budgeting approximately $350, although I do think, depending on the flights and the time of day, that would be, and then the per diem that the district pays for meals is $65 per day. Board members traveling would have to have itemized receipts to turn in. So at about $65 a day, you're looking at 3 days of travel. So those are the costs. At this time, Board President, the request is for you to be the representative and to attend.
Yes.
Despite I know that you have a passion for not traveling alone, but because it is an out-of-state event, the board must take action on it. We are requesting for one person to attend the conference. So food costs are roughly $195. Conference fees, approximately $825. 3 nights of hotel room accommodations. And then $350 for air travel. We are anticipating that it would be just under $2,000, $2,120. Thank you, Stephanie Fleming, because I hit the clear button on the 3rd number, so then I was stuck in my brain. So you're, Thanks, Steph. So 2,120 is what we're estimating the cost would be. We are only recommending and asking the board this evening to approve one person to go. Board
We are asking for one to go. That's on the docket for this evening. We still want to stick with the two, but from a budgetary standpoint, it be tailored into the budget for two to go and added language for the next ensuing year.
Right,
That-
and so I
we
think
don't
that
give
that's
it up.
part of the goal of what we would hope to have happen at a workshop, is that the board stamp and make some
Yeah.
commitments to is showing up. And again, this is a conversation not necessarily for today. Today's item is just for one member of the team to go, but I think your point is
We don't want to set a precedent.
is that we don't want to set a precedent, but I think that also the board has to be good fiscal stewards of taxpayer
Exactly.
dollars, and that's important to this Board of Education to do. So having a workshop and taking the time to make a plan that is aligned to a budget is going to be really important into the future.
Complying with the budget, yeah.
But in my time here, I don't believe any board member has traveled outside of the state, and I have been with the district for 10 years.
Nobody
No,
has
never went,
in
yeah.
9 years that I've been on the board at
Right,
either.
nobody's traveled outside.
And one more, would that have to be a agenda item, or we can just have further discussion? How you want to?
Dr. Early and I discussed having a workshop about it.
So it'll be
And
before a meeting.
Before me, okay.
before a meeting to workshop and to go over the budget, and to have that discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
A quick question. Has anyone on the board, as long as you've been on the board, or as long as you've been President Early or Superintendent Gibson, as long as you've been with the district?
We then started to intentionally plan for the board to attend state-level professional learning. There had been a gap where not very many members of the Board of Education prior to that time took the time to invest and learn about board governance, right? There's a specific set of skills involved with being a board member, expectations about learning the budget and those pieces. The board had not been, only one or two board members had been attending professional learning prior to 2021. And since that workshop, we have seen an increase in the board being committed to learning. And so this is,
Literally,
starting
before I got
to-
on the board, nobody was going. That was it.
I think
Nobody.
there were
Mr.
some board
went,
members who were going, and
but
board
they
members
really
used to pay for it out of their personal pockets as well. So no one has attended, Ian, to answer your question.
But out of that result, if I may, you put your hands together now. I don't know if you shot your commercial or not, but
I did not yet.
she will be winning the presidential award, the highest award there is for MASB. So we should put our hands together for this Madam President right here, Dr. Shaniva Early.
Thank you, Robert. Yes. We did earn the President's Award, because it wasn't just me. It was more than just me, because it was the team of people going and pushing me and like, okay, Doc, we got to do it. So I did win the award, but it's ours. It's not just mine. But we also had somebody who won the Master's Award, which was Mr. Roscoe's, which is one step below the President's Award. And then each one of the board members up here won an award, more than one, because we have 14 total. So it's just not me. It's going to those conferences and meetings and education opportunities is learning and teaching us how to be better board members. By no means am I telling you that we are perfect and we are going to be doing all of this stuff right. We make mistakes like everybody else, but it's helping us understand the correct way to do it.
Right, I was going to add to that. Being 50-some years old and never been to college or anything, I got elected to this position. That could be potential for a lot of personality conflicts, because I don't know how governance runs. These classes that we attend teach us financial planning. Every job that our superintendent does, we learn about at these classes, and we learn what our role is in these positions. I think it is so very important. I can't imagine that the board never did it in the past, because how do you understand all the functions of
What you do.
the governance of a school district if you're just coming off the street as somebody elected, you know? And that's my piece.
And I'm just saying, as an educator, as a teacher, my position has always been in the classroom, in the school. Coming onto the board, there are so many things that occur that, as an educator, I never thought about, never looked at.
Mrs. Chopra,
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
Mr. McCain.
Yes.
With a motion of 7-0, motion carried. Next, we have the discussion of joint committee from the East Point Community School and the East Point City Council.
Yep, in a regular meeting with new city manager Ryan Mattis, we have been discussing getting the joint committee of city council as well as the school board together. I did bring it up at city council. Thank you, Jennifer, for reminding me. But it's our hope to set some collaborative goals. We're going to continue to operate as two separate entities, the city managing and running their business, the school district managing and running their business. But both superintendent and city manager recognize that the work does not happen in isolation, that we are better together than we are in isolation. It is our hope to get the joint committee meeting again. We paused in the time of transition of the city manager position. We will be asking the board to have two representatives from the Board of Education that could participate with myself in the joint council, and then those two reps would bring the rest of the information back to the committee of the whole. So this evening, just a discussion point. One, are we interested in getting the joint committee back up and running? And then two, are there two people that would be interested in participating in that effort?
And in talks with Mayor, we did say that it would be a good idea for us to do this because we need to know what each other is doing. A lot of times we duplicate things not knowing that one or the other is already doing it. And so I'm asking if there's two people who is willing to be with the superintendent to do this because.
And I have a question. Does it have to be the same two, or can you intermittently change?
I think our hope would be to get two standing members so that we could set some shared goals. And that, no action tonight, just
vote or
discussion.
anything.
Thank you so much to Darlene and Ed for your interest, and I will follow back up with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have the second hearing of the public opening up at 7:41. Is there anybody else who wish to be heard?
Oh, here we go.
Good evening, Board.
Yes, hello, thank you so much. You have 3 minutes.
My name is John Solera. I live in East Point, Kelly.
Speak in the mic.
I am here to lend my voices to the people that are campaigning against this millage rate. It here says this is for rentals. We have many, many senior citizens in this city who live in government subsidized housing that are paying enough. They've had enough of their rents raised to, they're scraping to get by. They don't need this. We have businesses. Our businesses don't need taxed. We're struggling as it is. This is not a rich community. So I'm a no here. I am a no. And I encourage thinking people to vote against this. Also, we had a comment at our last council meeting where someone alleged that there's financial impropriety, thank you, sir, at the school board level from Ms. Gibson. I don't know, and I can't say for sure, because I don't even have kids in the district. All right, I'm an old guy. But I've been in East, that school children's pictures have been being taken by companies owned by a guy named Leon Black, a close associate of Jeffrey Epstein. These pictures are now being put into AI and being used to track our children. So if your child went to kindergarten to 12th grade in East Point, or all over the country, not just East Point, their pictures are being tracked. They are being tracked by a bunch of despicable people. I would also like to make your attention to Mr. Les.
Sorry, your time is up.
Les Weckner is owning the company that supplies the school books. And if you, black parents
Thank you so
don't
much.
think they're getting a bunch of garbage out of that, that's up to them.
I'm sorry, my mic is not on. Thank you so much, appreciate you. Is there anybody else wish to be heard?
Jennifer Nicholas, East Point resident. Thank you for the clarification of the conference and that. Yeah, I looked at what the agenda is. You better change your sleeping habits because they got you going from 7:30 in the morning till I don't know what time at night. So I understand it's not a fun trip. It's definitely a work trip. So, but thank you for going over the costs of it and that. And you know what you all need, and you all are doing a good job. So I would say, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
One thing I did want to talk about that was talked about last week at the Planning Commission meeting, the city is doing a master plan, and comments came up that it's hard to get the community engaged in the master plan. And I know I may have mentioned people into the community or bring families into the community, but my thinking is, why aren't we trying to keep our families in the community, keep our children when they grow up and graduate, choosing East Point as a place for them to start their families as opposed to going elsewhere. So again, I think it might be important to get their involvement, because if they have a sense of involvement in the community and pride in the community, that might be a place that they want to stay, and that's where they want to live their future. So just some thoughts that I have. I know I've been talking with Trustee McCain about ideas with the master plan, and that's just something that I didn't know, that maybe through the school system, we could get some people involved. Again, thank you all and have a good night.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Is there anybody else wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Karen Scott, council member with the City of East Point. I am really excited to hear this discussion about the joint collaboration between council and school board. I know we were at the planning meeting last week, and everything requires us to collaborate, understand what everybody is working on, so that we have a better understanding of what it is that the community needs. And so this discussion I thought was very important. I also want to acknowledge the student representative that we have here, just providing feedback. I believe like students have a different perception of what is going on in the school. I mean, we get the report from the adults that they have to shape our belief of what's going on, but students are typically honest. So I'm really happy that we have a student representative.
Lots of great things to celebrate, including the new CTE opportunities, athletics. I want to give kudos to A.D. McCarthy and all the coaches and student athletes and everyone who supports them. It was also wonderful to see all of the different Black History Month events that happen throughout the district, and excited to see and hear more about the Marchers Reading Month events. Welcome back, Mr. Downey. Thanks for joining us and for the report this evening, and we look forward to seeing you at more meetings in the future. Keep up the great Wood team, Crescent Wood. Super excited about the City Council School Board Joint Committee, so kudos to Trustees Whitby and Williams for serving in that capacity. Ms. Nicholas, we did have some engagement boards that went around the district after our last round of open houses and having them posted here at City Hall, but we appreciate the reminder, and I'm sure we'll be able to find other ways to work together either through that committee or otherwise to engage students in the process. Okay, and as you know, I always end with a quote. I just finished up listening to a novel loosely based on the life and work of Frances Perkins, the first female labor secretary, the person who served longest in that capacity, and also accomplished a number of other workplace protections. So if you've never heard of her, definitely look her up. The quote is, "Our idea of what constitutes social good has advanced with the procession of the ages. From those desperate times when just to keep body and soul together was an achievement, to the great present where, quote, good includes an agreeable, stable civilization accessible to all, the opportunity of each to develop his particular genius, and the privilege of mutual usefulness." Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate the consortium agreement is an excellent idea. And I'm very excited about it. I'm happy that we're finally piloting soccer. The programs at Crescentwood, as well as resource sharing with colleges and other schools around us, is just amazing. And the iReady reading is blowing my mind with how well they're doing with that. I also, though, wanted to bring up that the VFW nationwide is starting up the new year of the Patriots Pen.
What you need as a family head or board head, if we come together, talk about our differences, talk about solutions, more than just talking about how we can bring some or an individual down. Good, bad, or indifferent. We are inviting you to come to these meetings. That's what we're here for, to have a conversation. Let's just have a conversation and how we can move this school board forward. And I've heard all the congratulations. I'm not going to repeat them, but I agree with you guys. And someone else can talk about what we did today. But I truly, from the bottom of my heart, would love to see you come and we sit down and have a conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Roscoe. Mr. Williams. I'm going that way.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, school board, and thank you to the constituents that allowed me to sit up here as your school board secretary. I'm really excited about the CTE program collaboration as well. That's huge. I remember in high school we had auto mechanics and different things like that, and to see it disappear, but now coming back is exciting. Our superintendent and her staff do a great job, and her reports are spot on. I do thank Mrs. Meringue, Stephanie Meringue from Crescentwood. She had a great presentation, and to point out the progress, like Ms. Scott said, it's one step at a time. It's not going to be a sprint. It is a marathon. And to see the whole district as a whole, from our board members all the way down to our kindergartners, our district as a whole is looking up, and there's a bright future. If you can see, looking at the strategic plan, how we've met a lot of those goals head on, how Ms. Meringue.
Thank you, Mr. Downey, for your update. And I look forward to hearing more about what's going on in them schools, in the high school. Thank you, Principal Yarge, for attending. And Congresswoman Scott. Councilwoman.
All right,
Oh, look,
speaking it into
I'm putting it
existence.
into the air. I'm speaking it into existence. I spoke it. Go Little Shamrocks. Congratulations to all of the coaches. Thank you for helping them little babies out. Congratulations to Angela Evans for the Mac Browns Conference. And great presentation, Stephanie Meringue and my Crescentwood babies. Thank you, VP, for being the Superman that we know you are, saving our Presidente's life and all those other folks. And I'm glad that you are attending, Madam President, I'm glad you're attending the National School Board Association in San Antonio, because I know that whatever you learn there, you're going to bring back to us and teach us and make sure that we understand
Yes, I am.
before you take your hands off of us. And I'm closing with a quote. When you stop chasing wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch you. And I got that from Isaiah 43:18-19. Read it for yourself.
Thank you so much, Ms. Whitney. Ms. Richardson.
Okay, thank you, Madam President, and for the board. It's good to be here. Yay to the CTE on both schools. It is something that's very needed. I also wanted to say to the young team that all of the high school students graduated, hang on in there. You make your own self a star. Just hang on in there and work hard. And like everyone else has mentioned already, only thing I want to say is to still to continue to encourage your students, teachers and parents. Thank you for your help. You can see that it's making a difference because they're working on attendance now, and it's really up to you to get with your children and help them to come on and be a part of the school. The teachers need you, your students need you. So come on and just be a part and help the school system with your children become the best that we can. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Richardson. Normally, I just say, that's it, I'm not going to say anything. But tonight, I will say something, because we need to clear up a misconception. Every year, we have a full financial audit, every year. If you want to know what is spent in the district, please go to our website. Everything is there. We have no lack of transparency. Everything is in there. We have an audit every year. The person who said that we need to be more transparent, I don't know how much more transparent can it be, because it's on the website. All you have to do is click the button and read. Or if you really want to know that bad, you can do a FOIA request for the financials. But every year, we have a full audit, not be somewhere in the Bahamas or somewhere. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to put my hands on it. I don't want to see it. All I want to know that is there for our kids to get it, for our teachers to get paid, for our administration to get taken care of, for the bills to get paid, for the things that need to be done, get done. That's it. I don't want to have my hands on it, because that's just another problem. And it's not my problem to have. That's why we have a financial department, and the deans take care of it. We do not. The dean over there. We don't touch it. We don't put our hands on it. There is financial audits every year. There is transparency in the finance. There is transparency in everything. You know why? The state tells us what we got to do, and we do it. If we don't, we get in trouble. So the fact that people are saying it's not true, it is not true. And I keep hearing we got a lawsuit for this and we got a lawsuit for this. People who complaining about the lawsuits was the ones who sued your city and won on a lawsuit. But they're complaining about school lawsuits. The thing is, there is lawsuits, but they haven't won yet, because the things got to come out in court, and we got to see how these all play out. Let's see how it play out, and then let's complain about it. But till we see how it play out, please don't have a negative connotation about our school unless you're in there reading with the kids, unless you're donating your time, your money, and your talent. Stop talking about us and be with us. Help us do what we need to do to get this district to where we need to go.
Amen. Let the church say amen.
And next, we would like to have, a closed session.
Board President, it does not appear that the family requesting the closed session has shown up this evening, so we will not have action
On that item?
number 11.
All right then, so the meeting is adjourned, is that 8:04?
8:04.
8:04, thank you so much. Yeah, that's the wrong time.
Wrong time.